People could be seen taking a seat near the ceremonial pole, food in hand, rum intentionally poured on the ground beside them, and spirits could be seen inebriated. Various white styrofoam plates with plastic forks were in hand, and meals varied per person. Except for our four. While Elysia would certainly love to indulge, she understood that there's conflict between Astria and Magma, and that Godok wished to speak with Ivy. She rubbed her abs and made one look at the table before following him. Footsteps crunched and echoed through the forest. The silence was deafening. Elysia got more upset, looking at both of them by the minute. Magma looked ahead, almost depressed, while Astria walked with a fed-up expression. She walked closer to Godok.
What did you think happened between them?
Likely Magma said something stupid and now they're both upset. I did warn him that eventually she'll blow up on him, but he didn't listen. He reaped what he sowed.
But don't you find this silence awkward and unnatural? This is starting to irritate my spirit.
Fine, we'll talk later. Ivy's waiting for us. She said to meet up at the mango tree.
How do you always know where you're going? You have no map or compass or anything.
The question put Godok in deep thought for a second before answering.
Me feel it.
That's a cheap answer, Godok.
I don't know how to explain it. I just know where to go. When I begin walking, the land points me in a specific direction which I follow. Looking back, I guess that's how I've always been.
Fine, don't give me a straight answer.
Her frustration peaked. Godok hissed his teeth.
I told you what I know. You just don't like the answer. But here's the proof. We're here.
Then they saw it. A giant mango tree, its leaves shaded blue from the nighttime ambience. If you look closely, you'd swear you see a face. Underneath it stood Ivy. She seemed to be staring intently at the tree. She suddenly felt embarrassed because she wasn't expecting them so soon, but played it off.
The John Crow and his crew. Wagwan, old dog.
She looked at Magma, who looked away.
Why is he looking like someone rubbed push shit on his nose?
Ignore him. He and Astria had a squabble and he's up in his feelings.
Magma hissed his teeth and walked away, leaning up against that tree. Astria huffed and turned her back to him.
In any case, why did it seem like you were in a hurry to leave?
That's because I am. I heard news that my grandmother is in trouble, and I am about to get some supplies before I leave, but...
She looked away, hiding a blush.
I didn't expect you to get here so soon.
Why?
You see that tree over here? I was about to ask for something, but in order to get it, you need to perform a certain procedure. But it's kinda embarrassing.
She took a deep breath and gestured for them to step back. In an awkward manner, she started dancing around the tree and chanted,
Sweet, sweet mango tree, sweet. My children need something to eat.
The tree responded.
What would your children want to eat?
Again she danced and chanted.
Sweet, sweet mango tree, my children want rice and meat.
Suddenly the tree shivered. The mangoes on the tree started spinning and bags of rice and various meat fell from the tree onto the floor. Before picking up the meat, she danced one final time and chanted again.
I thank you, dear mango tree, I thank you.
The tree stopped shaking and went back to normal as if what just happened was a dream. Elysia's mouth dropped.
Then this real?
Yep, it's real food. Only I and an extremely small handful of people know about this. I learned about this from a guy named Ben, but one day I saw a pile of mangoes on the floor, and that same day he was never seen again.
But then she smirked and sheepishly cuddled up to Godok, rubbing his arms and muscles.
Say I could use some help carrying these back. Can you help me?
Godok grabbed her by the waist.
Only because it's you, I will.
Astria rolled her eyes, knowing this man lied through his teeth.
You know I missed you.
Eliezer tried to hide her disgust, but her face said otherwise. Ivy gave him a coy smile.
I have missed you too. Now hold on to these.
She shoved bags of rice in his arms. The rest followed, helping her pick up the meat off the ground. Astria looked at the tree and stated,
If Fades knew about this tree, maybe he wouldn't need to give haircuts for chickens.
That's not possible. Like I said, only a handful of people know about it.
Then why did you tell us to come And for that matter, why show us the ritual?
Simple. It's because of your eyes.
You know I don't rub crotches, right?
Ivy looked at her in disbelief.
Not like that. I meant the color of your eyes. That's a rare trait available only to those who have close relations to Obia.
Eliza perked up and showed her eyes to Ivy, who wore a confused expression.
I can't say I've ever seen someone with gold and pink eyes, but I do know you're connected to Obia just as much as she is.
What is Obeah?
My grandmother said she would tell me the real meaning when I return, but she also explicitly told me never to mention it in public as it is extremely frowned upon. She said the best thing to call us is scientists.
Elysia and Astria looked at each other and nodded.
We'd like to come with you to meet your grandmother. What is her name?
Queen Nanny of the Maroons. She has her own kingdom up in Blue Mountain Peaks.
Wait, you're royalty?
Magma came closer with his back turned to the group, but ear perked up listening to Ivy.
If you want to put a title on me, then yes, I am. But don't let that scare you off. I wasn't sitting on any throne sipping tea all day. The amount of butt whooping I got from the community taught me manners and how to survive. Heck, no one even sits on the throne.
Then why have a throne to begin with?
It's both symbolic and spiritual. It represents our kingdom's soul. To sit on it is seen as an extreme act of disrespect and malice. But, I guess, since you wish to come with me, you'll see it for yourselves.
I'd like to see that kingdom.
Ivy smiled back, but then looked at them with a serious expression.
I have to warn you before we even take a step. This is likely to become a dangerous trip. Assassins roam about. There's political tension everywhere, and resources are being fought for harshly.
If that was the case, how are you planning on getting there by yourself, and with the supplies no less?
Ivy didn't answer. Elysia held her hand.
We'll help you get there. Our goals align, since we need to speak with Nanny about our eyes anyway. What if this is a curse we're walking with and we don't know?
If we are scientists, as you say, then we need to know what our eyes mean and what they can do.
Magma sighed behind them, but didn't say anything. Elysia turned around and looked at him.
It's the first time I've seen you this quiet. I didn't know your mouth could close.
Magma scrunched his nose.
Leave me alone.
She poked his side and he nearly drew for his spear, his face clearly embarrassed from the yell he just made.
The ras you thinking?
You'll be fine. I'll check up on you later.
She walked back to Gordok and Elysia, who watched Ivy face the mango tree again. Ivy danced one last time, asking for coats and bags from the tree before telling everyone we're leaving now.
Like right now. Don't we have to prepare first?
Not needed. The land will provide. What, do you have to buy everything to live? We'll pass Hope Gardens, then Gordon Town before we reach the foothills of the mountain. Let's go.
She put a coat in each of the bags and handed them to the four so they could put the rice and meat in. They ventured back from the forest and onto the road. A few cars could be seen sparingly, but overall, it was a serene and peaceful walk. The breeze that blew further added to the serenity. On their journey, they eventually saw students walking along the same path. Chatter and laughing could be heard all around. They came across a long wall with the words University of the West Indies stretched along its wall. Eliza flinched and panicked. She started looking around hard in an effort to not be seen. Gardok noticed her acting weird.
What's wrong with you?
She found herself unable to hold eye contact with him.
I don't want him to see me.
Gardok raised an eyebrow.
Him? Oh, you mean the UWI boy you met at the festival?
Yeah, exactly. Our encounter was...
Astria saw her fidgeting.
Now that you mentioned it, the shepherdess said you did something to him. What did you do? Clearly it wasn't nothing, since you're freaking out.
Well, I kinda blackmailed him.
Gardok looked at her with a disappointed expression.
Look, he was showing me all these cool equipment and techniques he learned at school. I told him, If he didn't want the school to hear about what happened that night, then he better get a link for me.
The look on Godok and Astria's faces were those of parents mad at their child. Godok was the first to speak.
A dog that carries bones in its mouth doesn't bark.
He looked extremely pissed at her and continued walking. Astria and Ivy followed. She matched pace with Magma, still keeping an eye out for the boy, and was relieved when they passed the school without seeing him. Magma finally opened his mouth.
I expected that kind of behavior from myself. Did I somehow influence you?
A small smile finally returned to his face. She noticed him finally getting his mood back and sighed.
Yeah, it was a dumb decision on my part. And now Godok is mad at me.
Astria isn't talking to me either.
What happened between you two?
The constant teasing finally got to her. It didn't help that she was upset about the festival.
I don't think she's mad about the teasing, but rather talking down to her. I've watched how you spoke to her.
What do you mean?
You basically told her she can't cook by bringing up the breadfruit, as well as calling her dumb when you said she had her head on during the dinosaur fight.
But I never said anything like that.
Then that just means you're not seeing it from her perspective, and she has all the right to be mad at you.
He paused before she continued.
I'm not telling you to stop the jokes, but I am telling you to be more mindful of what you say to her. She might be willing to put up with the constant teasing, but eventually, every rope comes to an end.
What should I do now?
You're gonna have to talk to her and apologize.
He pondered for a moment before nodding. She rested a hand on his side and sent faint electricity through his body. He laughed and felt his spirit returning to normal. The road faded and the small sign marked Gardens of Hope. There they saw trees of various fruits. At a glance they saw mangoes, breadfruit, genips, sorrel and star apples. Ivy looked at Godok and said,
We'll be camping out here tonight. Remember when I said the land will provide? This is what I mean. Welcome to Hope Gardens.
They looked upon the breathtaking scenery and marveled for a moment before Ivy gestured.
Well, come on, they can't make themselves. Everyone gather as much as you think you'll need. The fruits are edible as is.
Magma picked some more breadfruit, but hid one. He quickly picked mangoes and genips by boosting his body with electricity. Godok placed his shield on the ground so they could put the fruits on and have it brought back to camp. Astria picked dry wood scattered on the ground and placed them in a circle she made with stones. Ivy scraped a few pieces of wood to get tinder, which Elysia lit with electricity from her fingertips. Ivy brought out a clear plastic bag and filled it with water and placed it directly over the fire. She added the sorrel and let it boil until the water turned reddish pink. She peeled a ginger and placed it in the bag as well. The meat was held up with pimento sticks near the fire so the meat could be slow cooked. In the meantime, fruits were eaten while they prepared the meat. And before long, evening came. Elysia and Magma were speaking in hushed tones and watching over Ivy, who fell asleep. Godok and Astria were around the fire before Godok spoke.
I can't believe Elysia would do something like that.
Yeah, that's something I expected Magma to do.
Godok slammed his fist on the ground. Astria watched him carefully before speaking.
I'm upset too, but it looks like this runs deeper than rivers for you.
Godok sighed and tried to calm himself down.
That's unnecessary problem she brought on herself, and I don't think she sees the implications of what she has done.
Another slam of his fist on the ground. Astria looked at him without saying anything. Her eyes softened.
Do you know what my biggest fear is? My body, or rather, I would hate to be mistreated and labeled as an abuser just because I'm a big guy. Women, and especially children, naturally drift away from me because I look tough and my face isn't the most welcoming either. Because of that, it'd be easy for people to label me as a criminal when I would never do anything like that.
Astria moved closer and leaned on his shoulders.
Now I see why you got more upset at her than me. I was looking at it from a surface level.
Gardock looked at her, his eyes waffling, then looked up at the sky.
That boy didn't deserve that. I'll bring her back to him and have her apologize.
Okay.
The fire cracked under the moonlight before Gardock spoke again.
By the way, what happened between you and Magma?
She stared at the fire, eyes failing to meet his gaze.
Do you remember the first time I tried cooking for us?
The one with the breadfruit, right?
Yes. That same night I was so excited to cook. And when it didn't turn out great, I would have been disappointed, but I would have recovered. But Magma never let it go. He kept teasing me about it, and I've hesitated to try my hand at cooking since then.
Gardock noticed Alicia and Magma shuffling for something behind her and instantly picked up their intent, but shook his head at them before saying,
I understand. Magma can be an idiot sometimes, but he means well. You should definitely say something instead of letting him mouth off to you. Never let anyone take away your pride or your curiosity. That same curiosity might one day save my life.
Now you're overreacting.
I'm being serious, Astria. I see the way you have been intrigued about everything. It's like you wish to learn how everything works. I believe one day you'll make something that's gonna be useful to us and maybe even the world at large.
She laughed at his ridiculous prediction before he nodded his head and touched her back, motioning her to look up.
Here's your first item you'll create.
Elysia jumped on her and hugged her with Magma behind her and breadfruit in hand.
I'm sorry for the way I spoke to you, Astria. Alicia told me that I have been saying some harsh words. Those were not my intent. I just wanted to keep the mood light. So here.
He handed her a breadfruit.
Let's make the breadfruit together.
She looked back at Gardock and smiled. They both placed the breadfruit on the fire and watched it cook this time. Ivy sighed before speaking.
How long am I supposed to pretend I am asleep?
They laughed before she joined them, and they all ate together. The breadfruit was the best thing that they had that day.